Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in life when we must ask ourselves a fundamental question. What is love, and at what cost do we pursue it? Love in its purest form is a force that uplifts, empowers, and brings out the best in us. But what happens when love becomes a cage, when affection turns into control, and when the warmth of companionship is replaced by the cold grip of manipulation? Too many men have fallen into the illusion that they can change someone who refuses to change themselves. They hold on to a love that drains them, convincing themselves that endurance is a virtue when in reality it is self-betrayal. They mistake suffering for devotion, thinking that if they just give more, tolerate more, love harder, they can fix what was broken long before they arrived. But love should never be a war you fight alone. A toxic woman will not meet you halfway. She will let you carry the weight of both your hearts until you collapse. She will demand loyalty while showing none in return. She will twist your kindness into obligation, making you believe that sacrificing your peace is the price of her happiness. And the coolest part, she will make you doubt yourself, convincing you that you are the problem, that you are not enough, that if you walk away, you are the one who failed. But you did not come into this world to be a prisoner of someone else's chaos. You are not born to be drained by a love that does not replenish you. You deserve a love that feels like freedom, not a cage. You deserve a partner, not a captor. And you must understand that walking away is not an act of weakness. It is an act of self-respect. Let go of the illusion. Let go of the woman who thrives on your pain. Let go of the idea that love is meant to hurt. Because true love is not a battlefield where you bleed alone. It is a place where you are seen, valued, and cherished for exactly who you are. The greatest lesson you will ever learn is that loving the wrong person will never make them right for you. Choose yourself, choose your peace, and when the right love comes, you will recognize it, not by the weight it places on your shoulders, but by the wings it gives you to soar. Love is meant to be the greatest force in the universe, a fire that ignites the soul, a wind that carries us toward our highest potential. It is not supposed to weigh you down like an anchor, draining your energy, your confidence, and your very essence. Yet, too many people find themselves in relationships that do exactly that. They call it love, but it feels more like exhaustion. They call it devotion, but it feels more like sacrifice. And the worst part, they begin to believe that this is just how love is supposed to be. But love is not a burden, it is a gift. It should inspire you, not leave you gasping for air. It should feel like a steady flame warming your soul, not a wildfire consuming everything in its path. If the person you love constantly drains you, makes you feel inadequate, or leaves you questioning your worth, then it is not love. It is control disguised as affection. A toxic woman will take and take until there's nothing left of you, convincing you that giving everything you have is a testament to your love. But what about you? Who is filling your cup while you are pouring everything into hers? The truth is, love should never be a one-sided effort where you are the only one trying, fixing, and holding on. A relationship should be a partnership where both people give, support, and uplift one another. The moment you find yourself feeling exhausted, unheard, and unappreciated, it is time to wake up. Love is not meant to leave you depleted. It is meant to give you wings. It should make you feel stronger, not weaker, more alive, not less. There is no honor in staying where you are not valued, no reward in holding on to a love that is slowly killing your spirit, and there is no shame in choosing yourself. If love is making you shrink, it is not love. If love is breaking you down instead of building you up, it is not love. And if love feels more like an uphill battle where you are the only one fighting, then it is time to walk away. Because real love, true, healthy, and fulfilling love will never ask you to lose yourself just to keep someone else, just to keep someone else. People spend years of their lives believing they can be the cure for someone else's chaos. They convince themselves that with enough love, enough patience, enough sacrifice, they can change a toxic person into someone capable of giving real love in return. But that is the greatest lie we tell ourselves. No amount of love, no amount of effort will ever change someone who refuses to change themselves. You could give them your heart, your time, your energy, and still it would not be enough. Not because you are not enough, but because they do not want to be more. A toxic woman does not see your love as a reason to grow. She sees it as a tool to use. She will take your kindness as permission to continue her ways. She will accept your sacrifices without ever making one in return. And the more you try to fix her, the more broken you will become. The truth is, people only change when they decide to. Not when you beg, not when you suffer, not when you prove your worth over and over again. If someone is toxic, if they manipulate, lie, or destroy your peace, it is because they choose to live that way. It has nothing to do with you, and it is not your responsibility to save them. But here's what is your responsibility. Your own happiness, your own mental health, your own future. You have one life, one chance to create something meaningful, something fulfilling, Do not waste it waiting for someone to become what they never intended to be. Do not break yourself trying to fix someone else. If a person truly loves you, they will grow with you, not make you carry the weight of their flaws alone. You cannot build a healthy relationship with someone who thrives in toxicity. You cannot create peace with someone who loves chaos. And you cannot change a person who enjoys the power they hold over you. The only thing you can do is walk away. Not because you did not love them enough, but because you finally loved yourself enough to stop trying. Love is often mistaken for endurance. People believe that if they hold on long enough, if they endure the pain, the disrespect, the emotional storms, things will get better. They convince themselves that suffering in silence is proof of devotion, that the more they tolerate, the stronger their love must be. But love is not measured by how much pain you can withstand. It is not a test of how much you can endure before you break. It is not a battlefield where the one who suffers the most wins. When you find yourself constantly making excuses for someone's behavior, constantly forgiving without seeing any real change, constantly sacrificing your happiness just to keep the peace, that is not love, it is self-betrayal. A toxic woman will demand your patience while showing none in return. She will ask for your loyalty while proving she does not deserve it. And every time you choose to stay, to fight, to endure, you are not proving your love for her. You are proving your willingness to abandon yourself. The greatest mistake people make is believing that love is supposed to hurt, that the deeper the struggle, the more meaningful the relationship. But real love does not break you, it builds you. It does not leave you exhausted and empty. It fills you with energy and purpose. If being with someone feels like carrying an unbearable weight, if their presence drains you more than it lifts you, then what you are experiencing is not love, it is emotional captivity. You were not put on this earth to suffer in the name of love. You are not meant to be someone's emotional punching bag, their source of validation, their endless well of forgiveness. Love should not feel like a battle you fight alone. It should be mutual, supportive, and full of joy, not just survival. The moment you realize that enduring suffering is not the same as loving deeply is the moment you free yourself from a toxic love that was never meant to be yours. Choosing to walk away is not giving up. It is finally choosing yourself. Love is meant to be a two-way street, a partnership where both people invest, nurture, and grow together. But when you are in a relationship with a toxic woman, that balance does not exist. It becomes a one-sided effort where you are the only one trying, the only one compromising, the only one carrying the weight of the relationship. You give and give, hoping that one day she will see your efforts, that one day she will meet you halfway. But that day never comes, because in her world, love is not about mutual effort. It is about control, about taking without giving, about draining you while she remains untouched. If you find yourself constantly adjusting, constantly apologizing, constantly walking on eggshells just to keep the peace, you silence your own needs because every time you express them, they are dismissed, twisted, or used against you. You become the fixer, the problem solver, the one who holds everything together while she does nothing but demand more. And the coolest part, she convinces you that this is normal, that this is how love works. That if you truly cared, you would keep trying, keep proving yourself, keep giving without expecting anything in return. But real love does not work that way. Real love is not a contract where one person does all the work while the other reaps the benefits. It is not a game where one wins by making the other lose themselves. Love should never be a one-sided sacrifice where your happiness is constantly placed on the back burner just to keep someone else satisfied. A relationship is meant to be a partnership, not a performance where you have to keep earning the right to be loved. The hard truth is, you cannot build something real with someone who refuses to meet you in the middle. You cannot create a future with someone who only sees you as a tool for their own needs. And you cannot keep pouring your soul into a relationship where the other person is content watching you struggle. Love is meant to be shared, not hoarded. It is meant to be mutual, not exhausting. And if you are the only one fighting for it, then it is not love. It is servitude disguised as devotion. Walk away not because you stopped loving her, but because you finally realize that love should never be a one-person job. As she sat watching the world go by, something caught her eye. It wasn't so much its color or shape, but the way it was moving. She squinted to see if she could better understand what it was and where it was going, but it didn't help. As she continued to stare into the distance, she didn't understand why this uneasiness was building inside her body. Love in its purest form is a source of strength, a connection that nourishes the soul and makes life more meaningful. But when love is twisted by toxicity, it becomes something else entirely. It becomes a weapon. And the most dangerous thing about a toxic woman is that she does not take from you by force. She makes you give willingly, not because you want to, but because she convinces you that you have no other choice. She will not say, sacrifice yourself for me. Instead, she will make you feel like you are selfish if you don't. She will not demand your loyalty outright, but she will manipulate you into proving it over and over again. Every time you try to set a boundary, she will make you feel guilty. Every time you express your pain, she will twist the conversation until you end up apologizing for things that were never your fault. And the scariest part, you won't even realize it's happening until you are so deep in the cycle that you cannot recognize yourself anymore. You start second-guessing your own feelings. You start wondering if you are overreacting, if maybe she's right, if maybe you just need to try harder, love more, be more understanding. And while you are busy questioning yourself, she is busy making sure you never question her. That is the power of manipulation. It makes you believe that you are the problem, that you are always the one who needs to change, that if things are not working, it must be because of you. But that is not love. Love does not make you feel small. Love does not turn your kindness into a tool of control. Love does not make you afraid to speak, to feel, to be yourself. And if you ever find yourself in a relationship where your emotions are used against you, where your love is twisted into an obligation, where you are constantly walking through a maze of guilt and confusion, then you are not in love. You are in a trap. And the only way to escape a trap is to stop playing by its rules. You deserve a love that lets you breathe, not one that suffocates you. You deserve a love that respects your boundaries, not one that breaks them. And you deserve a love that feels like freedom, not one that makes you forget what freedom even feels like. The most dangerous thing about a toxic relationship is not the pain it causes, but the way it changes you. At first, you are confident, full of life, sure of yourself, but over time, slowly and silently, you begin to shrink. Not because you want to, but because someone is making you question everything you once believed about yourself. A toxic woman does not break you all at once. She does it in small, subtle ways, planting seeds of doubt until you no longer trust your own mind. She will make you feel like your feelings are invalid. If you are hurt, she will say you are being too sensitive. If you are upset, she will call you dramatic. If you try to stand up for yourself, she will turn it around and make you feel like you are the one who is wrong. And after a while, you stop fighting back, you start believing her words, you begin to doubt your own thoughts, your own emotions, your own reality. And that is the real danger, not the arguments, not the toxicity, but the fact that she makes you forget who you were before she came into your life. You start to wonder if you really are the problem, if you are too much, if you are not good enough. You question yourself so much that you no longer trust your own instincts. You lose your confidence, your sense of self, your ability to see the truth. And once she has you in that place, she has control over you. Because a man who doubts himself will always seek approval from the very person who made him feel unworthy in the first place. But here's what you need to remember. Love should never make you feel less than you are. The right person will never make you doubt your worth. The right person will never use your insecurities against you. Real love lifts you up. It does not tear you down. It makes you feel stronger, not weaker. And the moment you realize that someone is playing with your mind, making you feel small, making you question yourself, you must walk away. Not because it is easy, but because if you don't, you will wake up one day and not recognize the man staring back at you in the mirror. You are not the problem. You were never the problem. And you never needed to prove your worth to someone who is only looking for ways to tear you apart. Do not let a toxic love steal your confidence, your peace, and your identity. Choose yourself before you lose yourself. There is a lie that too many people believe, the lie that walking away means failure, that leaving a relationship, no matter how toxic, means you did not try hard enough, love deeply enough, or fight long enough, that if you were stronger, more patient, more understanding, things would have been different. But the truth is, staying in a relationship that destroys your peace is not a sign of strength. It is a sign that you have forgotten your own worth. And walking away, that is not failure, that is self-respect. A toxic woman will make you believe that leaving her means you are giving up. She will tell you that you are weak for walking away, that you are selfish for putting yourself first. And for a while, you might believe her. You might convince yourself that staying and enduring is the noble thing to do. But at what cost? How much of yourself will you lose just to prove that you can survive the storm? Because love is not supposed to be a test of survival. It is not supposed to drain you, break you, leave you questioning your sanity. Love should feel like home, not a battlefield. Choosing to leave a toxic relationship is one of the hardest things you will ever do. Not because you still love her, but because you have spent so long convincing yourself that leaving is not an option. You have made excuses, justified her actions, told yourself that things will get better, but they never do and they never will, because a toxic person does not change unless they want to, and she does not want to. She thrives on control, on your exhaustion, on your willingness to keep fighting for something that is already lost. So do not let her guilt you into staying. Do not let the fear of being alone keep you trapped. Do not let the memories of the good times make you forget all the ways she has made you suffer. Love should not feel like a battle you are constantly losing. Love should not demand that you sacrifice your happiness, your peace, your sanity, and walking away from something that is breaking you is not weakness, it is courage. The moment you choose yourself over the pain, over the chaos, over the illusion of what could be, is the moment you reclaim your power. You deserve a love that nourishes you, a love that does not require you to lose yourself just to keep it alive. And if the only way to have that love is to walk away from what is destroying you, then do it. Not because you're giving up, but because you finally understand that real love will never ask you to suffer just to prove that it is real.